And now a highlight from Animal Radio on iHeartRadio. Hey, Tony.
Yes, sir. I have a Egyptian Mao kitty cat. He's 14 months old, and he puts me to shame. He is more intelligent than about 85% of the people who I know.
Well, that would have to be typical for the Maos. They are very bright and very inquisitive.
He's got an M on his forehead. We thought for about 6 months he was a Mancoon, but this boy has got real short, pretty, beautiful hair. He's black and gray. He's got 4 white feet, a brown nose, an M on his forehead, and a white chest. Now, and a long tail. Now, am I describing an Egyptian Mao?
Well, not necessarily. I think a lot of people, we know that the Mao has a very prominent M on their forehead, but that's not just exclusive for just that breed. So really any cat that has a tabby coat pattern, and tabby isn't a breed, so it's just kind of a coloration, but any cat that is a tabby can have that M, and it's kind of just a distinctive thing. But I think in the Maos, you really see it's kind of stick out a little bit more.
Well, how in the world did I get an Egyptian Mao out of a shoebox?
Well, I'm going to be a little skeptical because it is a breed that is, one, it's expensive, and there's not terribly many of the registered ones. So you may have maybe a mixed breed kitty that has some characteristics like that. Now, the Maos kind of look like some of those other cats, like the Ossicats, the Abyssinians, so where they have the kind of the spotted hair coat. So that's a little bit more distinctive. If he's got white feet, I'd kind of wonder whether or not he really is a Mao, because that isn't something typical for these guys.
Okay, I think, now this happened 14 months ago. I got him out of a shoebox. Now, he had 2 siblings, and they were just white. Would that mean that he's just a cast-off, or was there a white?
Well, like I said, I think you're probably dealing with a kitty that's of a tabby variation, and he's got that M, but it doesn't sound to me like he's probably a full-bred Mao, unless he's hanging out with brothers and sisters that are from another mother.
Well, you look him up, if you will, after we, cease to this phone call. Look up Egyptian Mao on your whatever iPad, iPod, BlackBerry, Cherry, whatever you got, and his picture will come up on that. A church friend of mine, church brother, we looked it up about 4 months ago, and he just threw out the word Mancoon. I've never seen a Mancoon, and I don't care if I ever see one. But this guy said no. According to the internet, you've got an Egyptian Mao. We assume that, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But, it sounds like he's got a great personality, so I'm going to say, what the heck? It doesn't matter what kind of cat he is.
I'm not a cat connoisseur, but this guy has made a very unusual person of me. I can say, let's load up and go. He'll jump in my vehicle, and he puts his little foot paw on my shoulder when I drive to let me know he's there if I need him. And at 5 weeks old, he knew how to litter box. He was trained, and he's only about 5 inches long when I got him, and I'm just enamored, if that's a correct, appropriate word to use. This little guy he is so special. He weighs 14 pounds, and he's 14 months. Is that the way they grow Egyptian Maos, do you know, or is that about the normal growth?
I mean, yeah, and again, it's not exclusive to that breed. You were mentioning things like the Maine Coon, which typically are quite large cats. So usually they're pushing up 15 to 20 pounds more likely in a healthy body weight.
They got long hair, don't they? This guy's got short hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maine Coons have long hair. As far as there's a domestic short hair, which is short in hair. The Mao typically has short hair, too, as well.
Yeah. Well, since he was born and since he started traveling with me every day, 7 days a week, people who see him want him. They want to touch him. They want to take him home and babysit him for a night. They want to take him home on the weekends. They bring him food. A lady brought him a Christmas present last year, a pound of food, whatever. And he is just enthralled to everybody who sees him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason. And like I say, I'm not a purveyor or connoisseur of kitty cats, but I do love this little guy.
Well,
and
yeah.
he is just,
and I think... And that's the thing, is that there's a lot of cats out there that really turn people that never thought that they were cat people. And you meet the right one, and it just changes your life. So I think we're all very fortunate if we make that encounter with a cat that really touches us in that way.
Is there one stipulation way that I could, in my own little finite mind, determine that he was a Egyptian Mao?
Yeah, and I believe at UC Davis, out by us, one of the vet schools, you can do genetic testing on cats, and I'm pretty sure that they can do a lot of different breed identification there. I'd have to check their list to see, but I think they do a good amount of those.
Let me ask you a question. This is not, off the wall, off the cuff. If I have him snipped, is there any way they can save his future generation for me, or is that uncommon to do? Because I don't want him to, he's never seen but one other kitty cat in his young little life. And people want me to, they say, why don't you mate him up to I said, no, unless it's an Egyptian Mal cat, I'm not going to do that to him. And I just want, can you save his pet, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, there's different ways that you can save for the future. The problem with cats is if we have to collect semen, you have to collect that from a cat, and that's probably not real routine. Now, if we're talking about something like cloning, that would be a different thing about taking a sample and cloning for the future. Well, so that might be the place to bank tissue for that. Yeah,
I mean, unless he is a real Egyptian Mal, but he's. His personality, he's got an above cat personality, and I don't know if I'm making him do. I don't know if I'm making him do the things he's doing. I mean, he just catches on. He's 14 months old. He's 14 pounds, and he can climb a tree, and he'll come down if I call him. Most cats will not come down. This little guy, he'll come down if I say, "Let's load up. We got to go for a ride." He's ready to go in the truck. Like I say, he came into my life at 5 weeks. He knew how to eat. He knew how to litter box, and for me, he was just already ready. He was a cat.
Well, now you said you found him in a shoebox. Where'd you find that shoebox?
A lady had him, but it was only 5 inches long. She had him and 2 siblings, and they were snow white, and she was giving them away. And I said, well, what about this little black one? And she said, well, he's a little bit frisky. She said, you might want to take one of the white ones. And so I pondered it in my little mind, and I said, well, let me take the black one, and boy, I don't regret it.
Oh, that's such a great story. Look at the hair on my back. It's standing up just from that story.
I saved his little life, no doubt.
You certainly did.
And he's enriched yours.
Months, this little guy, I'm a single person. I don't have a family. This little guy has really been an inspiration, a reason to get up every morning and look. I'll hold his little face, right up to mine and talk to him like you would a little baby. I mean, and he listens, he does his own thing, but he does listen to me.
Oh, wow. What a great story. Well, Tony, thank you so much for calling today. And don't forget, you can call anytime you want, okay?
Thank you, sir. I surely do appreciate it.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.